and I'll be your Maker Ed host. Welcome to our fourth live stream video. Today we have a very special guest coming live from his living room, Carlo.
Hi, my name is Carlo. Thank you for having me. I feel really honored. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm a fourth grade reading teacher at an elementary school called Learning Without Limits. Shout out to my fourth graders. It's in Fruitvale, Oakland.
We're so excited to have you. And so welcome to Learning in the Making Live. Every week we'll bring you ideas and inspiration for projects you can do at home with some everyday material. So whether you're an educator looking for ideas of things your students can do at home, a parent looking for activities to keep your kids engaged, or a youth looking for something to stay busy, we hope that these activities will inspire you to make at home. Last week, we made some pancakes while learning about fractions and measurements, and you can check out that video on our YouTube channel after this video. But this week's theme is all about the science of sounds and rhythm. So Carlo, what are we going to be doing today?
So today, we're going to be learning about different instruments and where they come from. We're going to build our own instruments out of things that we can find in our own house.
Okay, so since we're learning all about sounds this week and instruments, I want us to start with some mindful listening. So if you haven't done so already, find a comfortable position. That could be sitting or laying down. And then soften your eyes by blurring out your vision. And if you'd like to, you can start to close them. Then focus on the sound of your breathing. Hold perfectly still and listen. Now let your attention wander to the sounds around you. Don't worry about the sounds coming from outside. Let everything else fade away, but the noises that are inside. What do you notice? Now let your attention drift away, focusing your attention to the sounds that are outside. What can you hear? Now bring your attention back to your breath. Listen to the sounds of your breath 3 more times. When the shaking sounds end, slowly open your eyes and we can move on with our activity, feeling calm and relaxed. Right. Thank you for doing some mindful listening with me. Carlo, what are some of the sounds that you heard during mindful listening?
Around me, I was actually hearing my pet bunny snore, and I could hear the fridge on the other side of the room.
So cute. Yeah, so sounds are all around us, and there are always sounds. But what sounds?
That's a really good question. Sounds really come from vibrations. An example is if you were to hum, and put your hand over your throat, you can feel that vibration coming from your throat.
Yeah, so sounds are made of vibrations, and I'm going to do a quick demonstration so that we can see it. So when there are vibrations, those vibrations also vibrate the air particles around us. And when the air particles vibrate, they send a sound wave that eventually gets to our ears. So you can see the vibrations of the sound. Pretend the rice are the air particles. Right. And then you go boop, 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 boop. Okay, so that was my demonstration. Science. So all sounds are created by vibrations. So that now that we know where sounds come from, we're ready to build our own instruments. Carlo, what's the first instrument that we're going to be building today?
Today, we're going to start off with a couple instruments. By the way, before I start, that was really cute with the rice bumping to the beat. I really like saying that. It's a good way to see sound. Today, we're going to start off with building shakers and maracas. Do you want to share a little bit about where those instruments come from?
Yeah, so shakers can be found all over the world, but maracas come from the indigenous tribes of Latin America in the regions of what we know as Puerto Rico, Brazil, or Venezuela. And originally they were made from dried hollow fruit filled with seeds or pebbles and used during indigenous ceremonies and chants. All right, so we're ready to make ourselves some shakers and maracas.
So in order to start our shakers, we're gonna start with the shakers first. And I have a little scrap box here of things that I like to collect for future art projects. You're gonna need small containers. So I know that here's one that I already made. You know that Easter just passed not too long ago. So what I did is I saved one of the Easter eggs. And if you don't have that, that's okay. There's other small containers that you can find. So this one comes from the markets, and that you put 25 cents in, and you get a toy from. But any small container is fine. You're gonna need this small container. You're gonna need rice, and you're gonna need some tape. So what we're gonna do is using the egg, we're gonna fill up the smaller part of it with some rice. And you can also see in Linda's camera how she's filling it up with rice right now. So you fill it up with rice. You don't want to fill it up too much. Once it's got less than half.
I tried filling it up like totally. Like what would happen?
You can. Well, actually, you can do that, and then I can do less and see
Nothing
how it
happened.
sounds. Oh, nothing happened.
Nothing happens. It's too full. So I'm
Oh.
a little bit.
Yeah, try to leave a little space in there. So now I just put it together and I closed it. But you don't want to shake it and drop it, and then rice goes all over the floor. So the next part is just you're gonna tape it shut. So I'm gonna put tape around the lines, just to make sure it doesn't open while I play.
Mm-hmm. That's a super good idea. I made one and I gave it to my dog Soleil, and she immediately broke it open, and rice was everywhere.
I did the same thing yesterday. I dropped it, and rice went everywhere.
So if you don't have an Easter egg and you just have some other containers, like I have this mini Tupperware, you can also fill it up with some other materials. I have this little spice container, so a salt and pepper shaker, or any other types of containers that you have that you can easily secure.
Nice.
Okay, so now we have.
So once you have it filled and you have it taped up, you should have a little shaker, and mine is in the shape of an egg. And so basically what you do is just go front and back, right? And it shouldn't be like a big movement, right? You're not throwing it. It's just a flick of the wrist. It's just tiny. And as you go front, back, you can go up, down, up, down, up, down. As you get more comfortable with that rhythm and that movement, you can start picking up speed. Sorry, Linda, were you going to say something?
It's all in the wrist.
It's on the flick of the wrist, yeah. So as you get faster, it should sound like maybe a train. And once you have that speed down, it takes a little practice, right? So go slow first, make sure you got the rhythm. And once you feel comfortable, right, then you can start picking it up. There you go. There you go. You got it.
It requires a lot of focus.
And then once you feel like you're comfortable with that, you can throw a melody on top of it. So, for example, do you think I can throw a melody on top, Linda?
Yeah.
So one song could be like, boom kuliki takati, boom kuliki takata, boom kuliki takati, boom kuliki takata, saurakatiki takatiki, saurakatiki takata, saurakatiki takatiki, saurakatiki takata, boom kuliki takati, boom kuliki takata, boom kuliki takati, boom kuliki takata, saurakatiki takatiki, saurakatiki takata, saurakatiki takatiki, saurakatiki takata.
Those are a little small. For all of you advanced folks back home watching and following along.
When the video comes out, you can always pause, rewind, and then practice that. That's how I learn sometimes, just watching and rewatching. Should we do a bigger shaker?
Yeah, let's do that.
So let's say you don't have a container that's this small, right? So back to my scrap box. Something else I saved was a jar that I had jam in. Emptied it, cleaned it, and so because it's bigger, I'm actually gonna fill it up with something a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna fill it up with some beans. Okay. I see Linda has a jar too. She can fill it up with some beans.
Yeah, I live in a very millennial household. We have lots of, and we have some chickpeas, so that's what I'm gonna fill mine up with.
Okay. Again, you don't want to fill it up halfway, just a little bit less than half. to have enough space to move around. So that one, because it has a lid, you don't need to tape it. You just close it shut. And this one, it could be, because it's bigger, you could do this. It's going to be a little bit harder. So another thing you can do with that is just, right?
This is my kind of instrument. This is my speed.
Just like that.
That clapping on cue. That's me in the back.
And this would be a good way to just maintain the heartbeat and the tempo of a song, of the music, right? Boom, boom, right? Again, throw a melody over it. Let's see. Could be an old song, could be a new song. Let's see. Look, yo lo que quiero mi burrito, un burrito que me lleve lejos, que me lleve. Yo lo que quiero un avioncito que me huele lejos, que me huele. You can do a new song. Baby shark, doo 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 doo, baby shark, doo 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 doo, baby shark, doo 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 doo, baby shark, mama, and so on. So melody, a simple rhythm, and you have an entire song.
All right, so if you just saw me using my own maraca, if you want to create your own maraca, we're going to use that little egg that we had. And then what you need are some spoons and some tape. So let me transition to my document camera.
So she's gonna elevate it to a maraca.
Yeah, so we had our little egg shaker, our little egg. What you're gonna do is you're going to sandwich it in between some spoons, and then we're going to tape it. All around. You want to make it really secure. You can use some washi tape for that to make it really cute, just like this movie magic. All of a sudden, I have a way cuter maraca.
I really
there
like
you go. You have a maraca.
And the maraca, you can hold it with the handle. You can also hold it with 3 fingers, and then the last 2 fingers just rest on the stick, kind of holding the stick. And it's the same movement, right? Back, front, back, and up, down, up, down. And same thing, you make a little rhythm, sing a little song.
All right, so now that we have our shakers and maracas, what's the next instrument?
The next instrument that we're gonna make is called a cajón.
So what's a cajón?
A cajón literally means box. So we're gonna make a box. But a cajón is an instrument that comes from a South American country called Peru. And it also comes from a different place called Africa. So this instrument, and I'll show you right now, it was born during colonial times. It looks like this box. Colonial times, just a little introduction into where this comes from. Colonial times or colonization was a time in where Europeans came to the Americas and looking for gold, and they landed here and they started extracting, right, or taking away different things such as mineral silver and gold. They started taking food, animals. They even started taking people. So it was a rough time in where indigenous people and Africans were being enslaved and also killed, right? And it was a time where they were being prohibited to practice their culture, their language, their history, even though they were being prohibited all these things, such as creating their own instruments. Enslaved Africans still managed to practice their cultures and their histories, right? And made instruments of what they could. So sometimes an example is they would put 2 spoons together between their fingers and just play. They would use the jawbone of a donkey, right? And they would hit this part of the jawbone to make a rattling sound, and then scratch the teeth to make another sound. That's called a quijada. It's a different type of instrument. The cajon comes from a box that used to export fruits and vegetables from the plantations all the way to the markets and people's houses. So when the box was empty, people would sit on it. And I have a couple with me right now. Here's one. Here's another one that I'm kind of using to prop up my scrap box, and then I'm sitting on one here. So people would sit on it and they will play, right? Something like that, something simple. I'll get more into it in a second. But that's I share that like what the cajon is and where it comes from to talk about the cajon really is an instrument that fought oppression. And when we talk about fighting, sometimes we think about physical fighting, but in the history of the cajon, like it could also mean dancing, music, and creating as a way of also fighting oppression and connecting with others.
That's such an amazing history that even though people were being oppressed, that they were able to resist that through making their own music. And then they even invented new instruments like the cajon. So how do we make our own cajon?
So in order to make a cajon, what you're going to need is a box. And what we're going to use today is a cardboard box. So if you have a cardboard box, it's okay about the size. So Linda and I have a small one, but I believe also Linda has a bigger one.
Yeah, so I already pre-made a big one that I can sit on top of, but I'm using the small one just so that it fits underneath my document camera.
Okay, so just to go through the steps, this is my box. We're gonna close it. One second. We're gonna close it. We're gonna tape it shut, that way it doesn't rattle. It's a nice clean sound. Then we're gonna create a sound hole, basically like you can see here. We're gonna make a hole on the back, and then on the opposite side, I'll show you how to make some rhythms and beats. So
if you plan on sitting on top of your cajon, make sure you tape it up really, really good, because you don't want to be falling through your box.
Yes. So first step is making sure that you close it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start taping mine up. Got my box closed, and I'm just gonna tape it, putting a little pressure on it, that way it doesn't rattle as I start hitting it. Where did you get your box from, Linda?
Since we haven't been able to go outside, I've been getting a lot of shipments to the house, and this is one of the boxes from the company that shall not be named.
There's a lot of tape on my side. I have to make sure it doesn't rattle. If you feel like the steps go a little bit too fast, understand that it's okay. You know, the video will come out, and then you can always pause and rewind to go at your own pace. So I'm almost done with the closing, with the taping.
All right, so Carlo, as you're finishing up taping, I already drew a circle with like this tape roll. And so I'm ready to start cutting out my hole to let the sound escape. I'm using some scissors for that. If you're at home, make sure that you know how to properly use scissors or have an adult to do this part, because it is a little bit difficult.
I'm right behind you. Can you walk us through that part?
Yeah, so I like to poke a hole in it. Don't stab it, because that's dangerous. We're just going to gently ease it in. And then I like making diagonal cuts, or like little spears. So I cut little pieces at a time. That way it's easier for it to come out. Like I'm slicing a cake or a pie. I'm cut like little strips.
Okay, so I'm starting to cut mine too. You said don't stab it, just kind of push it in the box.
All right. So once I have a few like pie strips cut out, I'm just going to cut around them and try to get a hole. It also doesn't need to be perfect.
size of the hole shouldn't be too small. Like for example, if it's this size of the box, it could be the size of your fist. Your hand can go through it. That should be a good size. All right. Mine is definitely not perfect, but it is there. So I tape my box shut.
We're gonna pretend like this is a really great circle.
My circle did not come out perfect either.
All right, so what do we do with this?
This is the back side. So this should be touching or facing you, and then the other side is the side that we're actually gonna hit it. So for example, if your box is big enough and sturdy enough for you to sit on, just like I'm doing with my actual cajon, you can. If you feel like it's crumbling, don't sit on it. You can just put it in between your legs. So
all right, so the one I made previously is one that I'm gonna sit on top, so I'm gonna switch my camera. Boom, over there.
So we've made 3 instruments so far.
Uh-oh.
We've made 3 instruments so far. So now what we're moving on to is rhythm and beats, and I'm gonna bring it into 3 challenges. The first one is gonna be simple, and then the second one's gonna be a little bit harder. And then for those of you who enjoy music and really know how to play music, and maybe you're up for a challenge, the third one will provide that challenge, hopefully. If you are able to do them, I would love to see like a video. And I don't know, Linda, is there a place where they can show their instruments or their beats?
Yeah, so if you all want to share that with us, you can join us on Instagram or Twitter at MakerEd.org. And we'll be following the hashtags, hashtag MakerEdAtHome or hashtag MakeMusic.
Okay, sounds good. So the first one, challenge number 1. So basically, we're going to get to know the cajon a little bit, get to know where you should play in order to make the proper sounds. So you're going to take your hand and you're going to extend it out in front of you. And then wherever it lands when you drop it, that should be your bass. That's a good sound. I like that cajon. So just, you don't have to move your back. Your back should be sitting up straight, and then just let your hand drop, and that's your bass. Now, where your fingers start, on the corners right here, you're not hitting the edge, right? You're hitting the corners of this box or cajon. That's your snare. So it's the sound. You try Linda? And it should have a relatively different sound, right? A little bit deeper here and a little bit higher here. Good. Is it okay if we do a call response, Linda? I'll do it first and then you respond. So we're just gonna play around with the sound, just get to be familiar with the instrument. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 1, ready, go. Yeah, so then let's try. Here's the first beat. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. One more time. Ready, go.
Did I do it?
That's actually it. That's perfect. So that's how it's just. Let's try. We can do 4. I'm gonna do 4, and then you're gonna do 4. Okay, Linda?
What do you mean by 4?
We're gonna. I'll show you. We're gonna do it 4 times. A total of 4 times. Now count it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's perfect. That's challenge 1. Good job. Good job. Challenge 1. Now for challenge 2, I'm gonna introduce a new instrument, and this one you don't have to build. You carry it with you at all times. So your last instrument is actually gonna be your body. And so before instruments, right, are created, the instrument that you always have with you is always going to be you and yourself, right? Your body. You have your feet, your hands, your legs, your chest, and also your voice. So I'm actually going to move to the actual cajon, because if your cajon is big enough to sit on, you can do it there. If your cajon is between your legs and small, then I suggest maybe you move on to a seat. And you can do the same thing here with your palm, and then your fingertips on the edge of the chair, and it'll be similar. This is challenge number 2. So challenge number 2, I'm gonna play it and then I'll break it down and then we can practice. So challenge number 2 sounds like this. So one more time, it's 1, this is the beat that we know, 2, then it goes chest, leg, clap, stomp, stomp, leg, leg, clap. Same rhythm, but now we're using different parts of our body. All right? Can we do a cover? Go ahead.
Do the chest part again?
Yes, I was going to say, we're going to do a call response, and I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'll run it one more time. So it's twice. This is the second time. Then chest, leg, clap, feet, leg, clap. You ready, or you want me to try one more time?
Okay, we can try it.
Well, let's break it down by piece. We know this part, right? Let's try that twice. So you go first. Go ahead. 1, 2, ready, go. Great. The second part is chest, chest, leg, leg, clap, clap. So 1, 2, ready, go. That's it.
Okay.
And the last one is stomp, stomp, leg, leg, clap, clap. It should sound like 1, 2, ready, go.
Stomp, stomp.
Those are the 3 parts to it.
Okay.
Now, if we put it together, it should have a total of 4, so it sounds 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go.
Okay.
You got this. That's amazing. You did it. Yes, it requires using your whole body. Right?
I know that required a lot of attention. It was like when I'm trying to rub my belly and my head at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's also teaching you we can make music with whatever, right? Even if we have instruments or not, we can always make music. So should we try a couple of times to see if we could do a call response? So let's try one more time.
I can always try.
Great. So. One, 2, ready, go.
Clap, stomp, stomp, leg, leg, clap.
Yes, that's it. That's it. You're such a quick learner. You're amazing. I think you're doing great. This is challenge 3 now. Now, challenge 3 is, it's a challenge. So if you feel like you can do it, great. If not, when the video comes out, pause, rewind, and practice it. I would love to see people who can do the challenge. So the challenge 3 sounds a little bit more like this. Let's see if I remember. One more time. Okay.
Okay, yeah. That's going to be for those advanced ones following along. That's not me. So I'm going to be over here supporting you.
Okay. No, but I appreciate you trying. I'm actually going to break it down real quick. So it's the same rhythm, right? So we know that part. The second part, I'm going to break it up into 3 parts. So the first one is 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be stomp. And when you stomp, your right hand comes out over it. So 1, then left leg, right leg. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's the first part. The second part, so let's see. All right, the second part is clap, left, right foot. Now that part is a little tricky. So it's always going to be clap, left, right, but it's clap, left leg, right foot. And you notice my right hand is touching the right foot. It doesn't cross. It's the same foot, same hand. So clap, left, right, clap, left, right. So it's doom, doom, doom. That's the first part. That's the second part. One more time. Right? And then the last part is, let's see. Okay, the last part is clap, left. Now for the right part, instead of slapping anything, you're gonna stop. Clap, clap, left leg, right foot. Clap, left leg, right foot. And then last two is claps. So it should sound like. Right? So clap, left leg, right foot, clap, clap. So 3 parts. First one. Second one. Third one. And when you put them together, it's together. If you listen to like Lil Wayne's Amelie song that came out a long time ago, it's Amelie, 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 Amelie.
Yeah, so I hope back home you caught all of that. And if you didn't, that's okay, because you can just rewind this video and watch this again.
Yes, but yeah, those are the 3 challenges. I'm excited to see who can do them all.
Amazing. Yeah, so for those of you who are at home, please make sure to make your instruments, practice these beats, or create your own and share it with us. If you want some more resources on how to make these instruments, have this project, or other instruments, I'm going to share a screen with you so that we can share some more resources.
You said you're going to share a screen?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, so if you're looking for some more science resources, Science World has a lot of available videos, lessons, and resources, as well as Mystery Science. Mystery Science, you need to be able to sign up for a free account. If you're looking to make more instruments, Instructables has a whole musical instruments to make at home list that has 26 different instruments. And the Exploratorium has some science snacks with the subject of sound that has 25 different instruments that you can make at home with readily available materials. And then MIT Full Steam Ahead kind of combines that all together with the science and the instruments parts with lessons from grades K through 12. So if those are more resources, we also have them linked in our description below to our blog, and there are more resources there as well. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, so if you are looking to share your projects with us, make sure you use #MakerEdAtHome and #MakeMusic. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at MakerEdOrg, or follow us on Facebook with Maker Education Initiative. Join us next week for our next video that's going to be on sewing sock stuffies.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. Wanted to share one last thing. I think it's about the end of the video, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the last thing I want to share, and I'm not a singer, just a heads up. I'm not a singer, but like I wanted to throw maybe a melody and then put that melody over different beats just to see how flexible music is and how creative you can be with music, right? And the last thing I'll leave you with is if you did make an instrument, I would love to see that. If you didn't, that's okay. But also think about like, what else can you make music with, right? We did it with boxes. We did it with plastic spoons, right? We used rice and beans. Think about what else makes music, makes rhythms, and makes different sounds. In your house, how can you create music? So let's see. So a melody with different beats.
I'm gonna let Carlo take it away, and as always, we'll be learning in the making.
All right. So same beat, I'm gonna go faster.